All right, welcome to the defensive plays. We're gonna do these pretty quickly. Let's just cut to the chase. Not a lot of, not, not a lot of changes. It's pretty much just the same defense that I ran. Well, actually, all right, I take that back. I made quite a few changes. I made quite a few changes actually. This was initially what I wanted to run, but I didn't know. Well, actually, I didn't have the best build on Ather, and there obviously a couple of things like primarily the B skill. I want to change that to Lagoose Friend, but I mentioned that all of my fodder factories are pretty much used already, so I wasn't able to make that upgrade. But that's really what I wanted to put here. Astra, just because, I mean, why not? Yeah, I couldn't figure out what else to run on her. So we got Astra. This was the main change, and it was rather expensive. As you can see, I forget. Oh yeah, right. For Mortis died because he's unmerged. I'm not really going to do much with him, even though he's fantastic. But yeah, for Mortis died to this guy. I think in terms of future investment, it might be worth it. Or it is worth it, I think, just to have him be a little bit future-proof. Eventually, I'll upgrade the C skill, the save skill, I'll upgrade that as well. I think I've given him, like, pretty much both of them near and far save, although I am going to also fodder Neathogger to him as well. So that's going to happen. New Year's Neathogger, because I want that particular C skill for the far saving and the warp blocking. I think it's going to be great on him. And then Hector is pretty much the same. Giving him Hardy Bearing this time probably wasn't the smartest choice, since he still ended up dying quite a bit to a few Lins. So it probably ended up not mattering as much as it should. Should have probably went with Deflect Missile, just for consistency. And I moved some of the units around, some of the rings around as well. Embla is kind of stuck in the corner now. And yeah, those were the main changes. Haythorn, the primary one, because she makes Hector do more. She makes Sigurd do more Sigurd things and gets further down on the map. So I definitely needed to add her for that. It really pulls this whole defense together. But that being said, quite a few people just didn't surrender, or just got a couple losses as well. So there's that. But yeah, overall, I just don't think this is a great defense. As I mentioned before, the range, Lynn's range here makes her really easy to bait out, and if she attacks first, then Sigurd usually has no one to swap. I could have went with a rally, but as you can see, everyone has blue buffs because Micaiah and also Hector giving buffs. So you'll probably only have attack and speed, but because of the season and the units that are being brought on offense, primarily this Neathogger, someone is always debuffing attack and speed, so it's really difficult to get that stat swing, to get the rally in. And also Lynn here, I think she gives attack and speed up 6 as well, so I mean, the rally just isn't going to happen, so you're better off just running swap or some positional assist. And yeah, we'll go through these quickly. I think animations are off. They're doing their best here. What the downside of this, one of the other downside is that I had to reduce the threat range a little bit, so it gives the opponent a little bit more space on the left hand corner there, which ideally I would not want them to have, but it is there for them to be able to exploit. So they can fit like up to 2 additional units over there. And then if you have no space in your back row, it's not going to be a great time. But the upside is that Loretha gets to be in front, which means that his flash effect splashes further, and that's exactly what I wanted it to do. I didn't want him to be in the back, all the way the back where he was. He's right here where this infantry school was before, and that it made his debuffs a little bit too inconsistent for my liking. So yeah, really wanted to get him in the front, and that's why I need to give him the save skill, just for the roll compression, and also so I can move him up, because positional wise, I wouldn't have been able to do that with the setup that I had before, and then also I wouldn't have been able to include Ather, and someone had to go essentially. So Halloween Nagi was the sacrifice in terms of the unit that had to go. I think they messed up the placement of the Neathauger here. I'm pretty sure they wanted to get the stone terrain there to get some support on her, but you know, too late now. Still dies to Sigurd, which I'm pretty sure that most of you are aware since she has no AoE damage reduction. You know, the crazy thing is, in Summoner Duels, I've been like coming across quite a few healers that are just able to solo Neathauger with quad attack support. So if they can quad, yeah, they pretty much just solo her, which is really, really bizarre. The new healer, the most recent one, I keep forgetting her name, from Thracia, Genealogy. She solos Neathauger if she has quad attack support. She can solo. Here we go. Of course, Loki, of course, can do it. If she has, again, quad attack support. Loki puts out a ton of damage. So that one I kind of expected, but I was very surprised about the Genealogy healer. I didn't expect that of her. And then also you can get, I've actually, someone was able to do it with Hortensia, which was quite surprising as well. I'm always surprised whenever I see it happen, but quite a few healers, well, I mean, that's only like 3, but you could probably do it with more, with depending on the build that you're running. Yeah, you can probably do it with more. Yeah, they kept playing for a bit here. Yeah, you can probably do it with more healers depending on the build that you're running, but hopefully it's signaling a renaissance for the healers. I don't know, but we'll see how that ends up. But for now, I'm glad that we have options in terms of being able to take her out, at least in SD at least. A couple people just didn't surrender here. This loss was a Lin Ring loss. Yeah, this thing. And of course I had to rematch because of course, but you can imagine what happens here. Very surprised that I didn't see more from this Ronin, but I'm sure that he probably could have done something if Lin was unable to. Maybe I should have turned on the animations for this one, but it's a little bit too late. It's pretty close, 38 times 2, 60, 76 rather. Alright, maybe not that close. That was a lot more than he had. But 5 hits, got it done. I was contemplating going with Shield. If I go to Shield Fighter, then I can't run the... If I go to Shield Fighter on my far save, then I can't run the Marth Ring on my near save, which the near save kind of really needs, so not a good trade-off. Someone has to bite that bullet, and it was Hector this go around, but it's fine. Yeah. Just enough space for their 6 units, then they go on a sniping spree pretty much. Not much that you can do about this. I was saying that, you know, hopefully when the extra unit gets added, you know, if it's a melee cav, they should be able to get all the way down to the bottom of the map and, you know, take some revenge for me. But let's see how that one pans out. Someone mentioned that it's going to potentially be Sombron, and I think that's a fantastic idea. Sombron is, I think, the ideal candidate for someone who can replicate the summoning rune thing that Rune does, because Sombron's whole thing is being able to summon emblems, so it just makes sense for him to be the mythic that introduces that for defense. I'm pretty sure that he would be an armored dragon because, I mean, what else are you going to do with him? Infantry dragon doesn't make any sense because Sombron's a beefy boy. He definitely needs some. He's gonna be defense heavy, defense and attack heavy, of course. But yeah, and it only makes sense if you're gonna do that. Then it only makes sense to make him an armored unit, because the only other infantry dragon that we had, well, the other infantry dragons that we've had for defense have not aged well. Looking at Medius, Ceros, worst of all, Sothis, infantry dragons just don't age well on defense. So armored makes a lot of sense. Looking at Duma, Shield Fighter kind of brought him back, so there's a lot of room for growth if that's the archetype that they go for with Sombran. And I think as long as he's able to activate the summoning circle, he's always going to be on a defense team. I mean, for Dark Season, he's pretty much automatic as a near save or far save, whichever one he fits the role for, depending on what he could potentially do, if it is that they do introduce him. But I do think that it's a very, very good idea for it to be Sombran, especially since they also mentioned that Limero was last year, so for it to be Sombran this year, it only makes sense. You know, the counter was light, was it Divine Dragon and Fell Dragon, the juxtaposition, the dark and light, it makes sense for it to be Sombran this year. Yeah, and as it relates to who the other one will be for Anima Season, but then also Sombran could be for Anima Season, but I do feel he gives me more of a Dark Season vibe. But for the other mythic, I do think we're getting both defense mythics. That's just the feeling I get. Although they could do defense and offense, making the offense unit for Astra Anima, they could give that one the... what's that thing again? The allow you to use the summoning rune on Astra Anima Season, because it's currently not available over there. So if they were to do that, then that would rectify that problem. I do see that also being something that they could do, but then offense is really easy in Astra Anima Season. It's not that hard. So they could also just, you know, decide to buff defense instead, which I hope they will do. But looking at their track record, it's more than likely going to be Astra and Dark. Just looking at their track record, they've been kind of mean and stingy when it comes to giving us good stuff on Anima Season defense. The last thing we got was Ather, and that was a while back, which is also the reason that I think it might be an Anima defense mythic, because Ather was the last one that we got, and that was a long time ago in Fae terms. But then I don't think they're going to be that nice. I don't think it'll be light, because there's no reason to create another light mythic that can do the rune thing. It would be pointless. You basically just make rune irrelevant. That's the whole reason of bringing rune is so that you can get the summoning circle. So, you know, why put another unit that can basically just step on his niche? So yeah, I think probably it seems highly likely that it's probably going to be 2 defense mythics, which is great. That is endless possibilities, and I'm here for it. So yeah, there's that. What else? Oh yeah, I did say that I was still trying to figure out what to do with Desert Ike. I've used them quite a bit now. Still inconclusive data. I feel like it's down to the matchups that I've gotten so far in SD. Just they don't play. I've just been facing a ton of Soren balls, which, I mean, unless you're quadding, you don't really need what's his face. You don't really need Ike for a Soren ball. He doesn't really do much in that situation. So yeah, inconclusive results so far. I'm gonna keep, you know, playing around with him, seeing how he can, you know, perform, be better. Yeah, let's see where that goes. Also, Tamara, I keep trying to make her work for me, but I think ultimately she needs the investment. You really need to invest into her. I don't think you're going to get much out of a unmerged Tamara. And I have minus +2, but she keeps getting outsped no matter what type of support I give. She keeps getting outsped. She keeps dying in one hit, which is crazy. She keeps missing kills because she's not triggering the sandstorm. There's so many things that you need to give to her for her to perform, and it's just really annoying to build a team around her. At this current point in the game, when she first came out, it was a little bit easier to properly support her, but now it's just becoming increasingly difficult. Since this is the last one, let's just turn on the animations. This one went by a lot faster than I thought it would, but I have been skipping through quite a few, the stuff here. This is a great build. I don't know why. Oh, I thought this was a duo release, but this is a great build. I think this is the direction that most people are going to head in with their healers. Glitter of Light has become, I think, the best healer special. Flash is just like undeniable. You can't get around it. Gravity is great and all, but to prevent your foe from attacking, you can't get around that. That's just fantastic. You really, really want to have that. So that has like gone up in value. I want to say Glitter of Light. Here's my Embla. I did fodder New Year's Hearthfelger to her. So actually I was surprised that I didn't get as many things as I thought I would have gotten. Off of the, it was only like 3 things that were... it wasn't much that I needed to, put in there, but there she is. The only thing now is merges and dragon flowers, which hopefully I can get in Binding Worlds. Hopefully. They really need to start giving out 2 of those, or some way to get your own unit from the Binding World Soul thing, because I think that would fix pretty much everyone's problem. If you're able to just pick up your own unit, then you always get what you want, no matter what, and you don't have to depend on the gacha to give you something. But yeah, I don't see them doing that. I don't know. It seems too nice. Yeah, that's the only kill, if I remember correctly, and I think GG's for them here. They wanted to go for the perfect, and I don't blame them. So that's that. For defense, not a lot of changes as you saw, aside from the Ather. I think she's actually fantastic, although for some of those anti-synergistic when you run her with Hector, because Hector puts down the stone terrain and then she puts down the forest, whatever you want to call that. So it kind of means that you can't really use her dual button unless you want to get it overridden at some point. So I don't know. I'm probably gonna pair her with someone else in terms of far save, but I think she's very good. The only thing that kind of confuses me is the charge effect. It seems to have some type of turn condition. It's not always on, which is weird. But then that's probably just a reading gap. I probably need to read her weapon to see what's going on there, and whatever. But yeah, overall, I think it was another decent week. 2 losses. I don't count these sack plays. I never counted them. So 2 full losses and everything else is a win. So that's pretty decent in my book. Didn't lose any lift really. 56, 52, which is pretty great as well. So decent overall. As I was just checking this out, we're looking at Chaos Season next week, and then after that we should have, I think by then we should have the mythics available. So I'm probably not gonna start building another light defense, a dark defense, until the mythics come out. Don't know what I'm gonna do for Chaos Season. Of course, one of these Neathoggers is gonna be on defense because they're just insane. And then as for the rest, I really don't know how that will pan out, but we'll figure it out. I think one of the things about Tana that I probably didn't mention is that I think for defense, she's a huge boon if you can get her to work, or if you can fit her in. I don't really see where you would put her aside from that extra slot, because if your opponent is like camping in that back row and she pops out and hits someone, then the rest of your team can then warp all the way down. That's a great way for your team to traverse the terrain. So a lot of shenanigans are incoming on defense. Keep that in mind. as you're pulling and summoning for units and as you prepare for the upcoming weeks. Definitely excited. Oh, and CYL is here, of course. I'm just going to vote for Yunaka. Probably give one vote to one of the males, but I'm just voting for Yunaka. I don't know. I could be convinced to vote for Ivy as well. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Yunaka is what I'm doing. But that's about it. GG's. See you in the next one.